In recent years, the Central Transportation Port has become a symbol of the ambitions of millions of Polish people. The construction of the Central Transportation Port slowed down after the December 13th coalition took power. The future of this project was one of the topics of the last presidential debate.
Pan był przeciwnikiem
You were against the Central Transportation Port. You changed your mind 78 times. I don't know at what stage you are, how you woke up today, whether you are for the Central Transportation Port or are you against the Central Transportation Port. According to Trzaskowski, the original version of the Central Transportation Port was a manifestation of gigantomania. The new cut-down project is much more to his liking.
Uratujemy również
We will also save Okęcie, and yes, we will expand Lot. Now this project makes sense, and it's natural that if there was a project that didn't make sense, you could be against it. Now, if the project makes sense, you can support it. The current Central Transportation Port project is just a small part of the plans prepared by the previous government. According to experts, it makes no sense to build a new airport while investing in the old one. As they argue, there is no room for two such facilities in the Warsaw agglomeration.
Tu nas, szczerze mówiąc, niezmiennie
And here we are very worried about what Mr. Rafał Trzaskowski is saying. Even yesterday at the debate, he said that according to the new project, it was possible to save Okęcie. For me, saving the old airport is de facto like the kiss of death for the Central Transportation Port. The current work on the Central Transportation Port more resembles a diversion than real action. At the head of the team responsible for its construction, Donald Tusk installed Maciej Lasek, who for years has been the project's chief critic.
Rząd Prawa i Sprawiedliwości.
The Law and Justice government wants to build a huge airport from which it is not clear if anyone will want to fly from. A huge airport that will destroy all other surrounding airports. It is hard to believe that the author of these words will want to build this huge airport. Much of the public feels the same way. Nearly 200,000 citizens signed the Citizens' Bill, which was supposed to oblige the government to quickly build the Central Transportation Airport in its original form. Unfortunately, the December 13th coalition threw the bill in the trash, and the deadline for the Central Transportation Port has once again been pushed back.
Już teraz wiadomo, że prawdopodobnie
It is already clear that the airport itself will probably not be handed over in 2032. Let's recall, this is the new date, and it is supposed to be opened in 2035. It was even mentioned by Rafał Trzaskowski in some conversation. So the question is, why such a delay?
Pytanko o CPK, bo
Question about the Central Transportation Port, because here it is clear that the government's position is that it wants to implement this investment. But what has the government actually done for these 1.5 years about the Central Transportation Port, apart from declarations? I will tell you that it looks the same as in everyone's house. We plan and arrange the implementation of investments in our home, in our household, according to the possibilities and rationality. As you can see, Rafał Trzaskowski's words about alleged support for the construction of the Central Transportation Port are not followed by any specifics. The Yes to the Central Transportation Port Association prepared 6 demands, which it called on both presidential candidates to support. Trzaskowski ignored the proposal.
Jesteśmy
We are honored that at least one of the candidates wanted to respond to our call and wanted to respond positively. Postulates pledged the president to take the initiative to build the Central Transportation Port with all railroad infrastructure as soon as possible, raise funds for this purpose, and convene a cabinet council on development projects once a quarter. The declaration was signed by Karol Nawrocki.
pierwszą moją inicjatywą ustawodawczą, gdy
My first legislative initiative when I become president of Poland will be the initiative to return to the citizens' project of the Central Transportation Port. And, at the same time, it will be a bill that calls for the restoration of those projects that allowed local Poland to develop during the 8 years of the United Rights rule, that sought the sustainable development of the Polish state. Karol Nawrocki's support for the construction of the Central Transportation Port is also a continuation of the current Polish president's support for major development investments. President Andrzej Duda has been supporting investments that strengthen Poland since the beginning of his presidency. Today marks 10 years since Andrzej Duda won the elections. In a little over a week, it will become clear whether the presidential palace's support will be maintained.